Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we'll be covering the x2h Mini 1 of 0 collab. This is the Acid Rewind, and this is something a little different than what we're used to seeing in the current market in terms of look. It is special for a couple of reasons. Its design is supposed to remind you of those old school consoles / see-through looks that you would see in the 90s. Now I'm not a 90s baby, but I did grow up like one. Everything about this mouse does hit those feels, and it reminds me of my Nintendo 64 and Game Boy that I had as a kid. Now, aside from looks, this is still a Pulsar product, and one thing Pulsar does really well is packaging and attention to detail. Everything about it matches the aesthetic people over at 1 of 0 were aiming for. Switching over to the mouse itself, it is a smaller mouse, more designed for smaller hands, with claw in mind. But it still does work really well for medium hands. I do grip it like this, and I do have a little bit of pinky support, more than you would expect for a mouse this size on the side. But it does work for medium hands as well. If you have larger hands, like 20 by 10, I would aim for a larger version like the x2h Medium. The hump itself is actually extremely round, and that threw me off at the beginning. It almost feels like they cut a ball in half and glued it to the back. It's just very bulbous. The hump itself is very tall, taller than what you'd expect for a mouse this size, but in a good way. I'll be the first to admit, in the beginning this is a shape that I had to get used to, but the more I use it, the more it grew on me, and the size is comparable to the Sora V2, with the Sora V2 having a bit more inner hand maneuverability, which did help with the micro adjustments on this mouse. I did notice I did suffer a bit over on the x2h Mini with micro adjustment. It really locks you into that claw feel, and for some this may be a good thing, and for some this may be a bad thing. For the click feel, M1 and M2 feature racial opticals. I have no real complaints outside of I wish they were a little lighter, but for feel I think they're not bad at all. The side buttons and scroll wheel are very premium, very snappy, as well as they are very spammable, and the scroll wheel is very sturdy and smooth. I have no issues with wobble, and I have no issues getting stuck between scrolls either. M1 and M2 have very little side-to-side play, but it is there. There is no wobble, however, on the click. As you can see, it clicks before it starts to wobble at all. I will do a little quick video on the sound and clicks. Like I said before, man, this mouse really does hit those nostalgic feels. And if you grew up in the 90s or did have any of these products with the see-through look, this might make you feel some type of way. I really couldn't put my finger on it. Like, this colorway is not my favorite, but it really just makes me reminisce of those childhood memories that I had of holding that Nintendo 64 controller that looked very similar to this. I'm pretty sure that's where they got their inspiration as well, from that like Nintendo 64 green, like old school look. Now, this is the only Pulsar product so far. I've had 5 or 6 Pulsar mice, and this is one of like 6 where I don't have any QC issues or any quality concerns. My clicks don't grind. There's no double clicking. There's no squeaking. It's not sticky. This is the only one where I'm actually happy with the build quality. Now, I will end that video here. If you do have any questions, drop them down below, and I will do my best to answer them all.